Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well out there, enjoying your time, enjoying this hump day. You know, we in here for a short time before a good time. So please, everybody, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Don't forget to crush that subscribe button. We got a lot of things to talk about and a very little time to do it. Honestly, I'm going to be real. Honestly, I was not planning on jumping on this morning. I woke up feeling pretty exhausted. Literally had to peel myself out of the bed to be on here to chop it up with you guys for a short time. Like I said, it's going to be a short time, but we're going to be here for a good time. Hopefully, my brother David will be on with us to chop it up with me here very, very shortly. But like I said, do me that small favor. Do not forget to hit that like button down below. All right. Hit that like button down below. Don't forget to crush that subscribe button if you're checking out this show for the very first time. That would be really, really, really appreciated. Like I said, we're just kind of show a few things. All right. A few things. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to show a few things, and we're going to get this thing moving. As we already know, some of the things that we already know right now, because I'm going to get straight into the news, guys. We're going to get straight into it, okay? Like I said, on here for a short time before a good time, all right? So, as we know right now, Gabby Petito has been, her autopsy, the coroner came out and said she died. Her death was by strangulation. Strangulation / throttling. And those are pieces that came out after we went live yesterday. Yesterday afternoon while we were going through this whole thing. So what I find very interesting is what the coroner has said, what the autopsy was saying, and how he kind of slipped up and said a little DV in there. And you know what I mean by DV. But it was very strange to me. All right. Throttling with bare hands. Yes, ball fan. Thank you so much for that. But yes, throttling is bare hands. Yes. He strangled her with his bare hands, or someone. Okay. Because we gotta still keep it safe, y'all. We still got to say allegedly until he gets brought in and gets tried. And obviously, with a jury of his peers and found hopefully guilty. We have to say allegedly right now. So for right now, what we have is this. All we know is that she was strangled with hands, bare hands, and there was throttling. All right. Now, whew, what a crazy day yesterday was, wasn't it? When we finally found out what was really going on. Now, before we go into it, because I got some clips, some videos that I want to show you guys, and of course, there's some things in here saying, that the Laundrie family is finally mowing their lawn. So we're going to take a look at that, obviously. But what's been crazy to me is that, there's been a lot of people worrying and wondering how Gabby Petito left this planet, right? How she crossed over. What was the cause of death? The only thing that the coroners have said so far was that it was a homicide. They ruled it as a homicide, but they never said what it was. And of course, like myself, like my channel and many, many others, we were all out here straight up speculating and conspiracy theorizing and all that stuff. Okay. Going mad crazy over this thing. All right. So they finally say what actually happened. Now, I know that a lot of people say, oh, there might be a connection between the two women, the married couple that were a little bit outside of Moab, Utah, and Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito. So far, if he was going on some sort of serial killer killing spree, usually serial killers have a rhythm. They have a pattern. They have a way of doing things, right? Now, I'm not sitting here saying that they all do, right? Shoot, just the other day, I watched the movie Zodiac again, right? And a lot of those murders were different things. The Zodiac killer, okay, was running around and doing different things. So not every serial killer, and we don't know if all of them are connected or all of them were the same person. But at the same time, when it comes to serial killers, they all have a pattern. They all have a thing that they do. Either it's a knife or it's a gun, or they're doing something really crazy and grisly to the body before or after that victim dies. They all have an MO. They all have a rhythm, right? It's almost like a ritual. Have you guys seen Dexter? That's all I want to say. You know, they got a code, right? Like Dexter was saying that show. He had a code that he had to live by, right? So with this, when you look at both situations, what we know right now with the married couple, gunshot wounds, there were bullet wounds in the bodies. Okay. So thing is there a connection between the two? Is there or not? We don't know. My personal opinion, I don't think he has anything to do with the murder of those two young women. I have to say that. I really don't think so. That's just my own personal opinion. I could be completely wrong, but this is just my personal opinion. So anyway, we got some videos. I'm going to be pulling up my brother David here as well. What up, my brother? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good, man. How you doing?
Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again. I'm sorry.
So I'm pretty good. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm tired as hell. I'm tired. But I'm here. I told myself, I was like, I didn't tell anybody I wasn't going to be doing a show this morning or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me just hop on. It's going to be a short show, but we're going to do this. We're going to chop it up. We're going to talk about this stuff. And then I'm going to hop off and get some much needed rest for myself. So, but one thing, and you've been listening to me so far, right, David?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this? All right. What are your thoughts on the possibility before we go? Because we got some clips. I got some video clips, from News Nation and all that. Shout out to News Nation for being just on top of their thing, man. And Brian Enton, he's been killing it, by the way. Huge shout out to Brian Enton. Would love to have him on the show at some point. But anyway, just to pick his brain, you know what I mean? But anyway, with this whole story, but I'm curious as far as, because everybody's sitting there going, okay, if we find out the real reason how this woman died, how Gabby Petito died, if we find out it was gunshot wounds, then there's a good possibility that it was a Brian Laundrie that did kill those two women. Okay. Now, the thing is, she didn't have any gunshot wounds. At least that's what the coroner said. I feel like they would have said that. I feel like they would have said, yes, there were bullet wounds in her body, in her body, so on and so forth. They say strangulation. So in my mind, if somebody has a pattern of taking one's life, right? Mm-hmm. Don't they have a rhythm? Don't most serial killers have a rhythm? You're looking at John Wayne Gacy. You're looking at Ted Bundy. You're looking at all these guys out here. Dahmer. All of them have a rhythm. They all have a pattern on how they do what they do. Like I said, a code, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is very true. It's, typically with serial killers, you see that they feel some sort of compulsion to kill people in a certain way to make them better or something like that. That's generally what serial killers kind of seem to think based on interviews of them in prison. But so if... And in the past, there's only, as far as I know, in America, that is, there's only been one one person that was a serial killer that used a gun. Otherwise, it's usually something more like a knife or strangulation. Strangulation is a common one, but as far as it being related to the other two, I don't really think so. So the Moab police said they don't think it is. They didn't give a great reason, but I do think these two women were targeted. I think Gabby was killed by Brian, most likely, and I think these two women. It's hard to say, but most likely from what they were doing, they were kind of on their honeymoon. It seems like it was a hate attack, and that's what they are investigating through the police department. They did have their pants and I think their underwear pulled down as well, and they were shot multiple times.
And just so you know, if you want to know the more details about that, I did an interview with the woman who actually found those two women, Cindy Sue Hunter. It's up on my channel. Please go check it out. People have been watching that like crazy. Shout out to Reddit. People shared it on Reddit, and that thing just went crazy. But she goes into great detail on how she found the bodies before the cops even touched the bodies, what the bodies looked like when she showed up, when she got to the scene. The other thing I find very strange, sorry to interrupt you, David, but one of the other things I found very strange is that she found the first body, which was Kylan Schulte. She found that body literally yards away from their campsite. Strange, right? The cops went around, did their thing, didn't bother to go to the campsite and walk around the campsite. Yet she was able to find this body the very next day within 5 to 6 hours of searching for their bodies. She was able to find them yards away from the campsite, y'all. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. But I'll let David continue. Go check out that interview, though, please.
I just put it in YouTube chat as well.
Thank you, my brother.
So if anyone wants to see it, they can click on that. But yes, it's like I said, I agree with you here. I do not think Brian was behind both of these attacks. And I don't think it was probably a serial killer behind both of them either, specifically because of the two different ways they were killed. Now, the women do kind of sound more like that might be the effect of a serial killer because they were displayed and there was certain, sexual frustration is one of the main things serial killers express a lot of times. So, that part makes sense, I guess, but we don't know if there would have to be other people killed in the same way for that to be a serial killer. I just don't think they're the same person, considering, there were people at the bar where she left, and that was the last time they were seen in public. No one mentioned Brian. They didn't even, they said that there wasn't even any unfamiliar faces in the bar, even though the police still think they were followed from the bar or a pub or something like that.
Yeah, but then it's like, what would make Brian? Why on these two women, right? Why if like I said, if there's a connection, and that's a really, really hard if, why would he pick those two women out of anything else, out of anybody else? To me, that just doesn't make any sense. Like I said,
especially considering he hitchhiked with at least a few women that were by themselves and didn't attack them. It sounds like he had already strangled her when that one woman gave him a drive by herself when he was hitchhiking, because he wanted to keep her away from that location. But that doesn't suggest like a serial killer to me. I think he would have, if he really was like killing a lot of people, I would imagine the person who drove him right to where her body was, or at least close to it, would have been one of his targets. But so I don't think the two are connected. I do think this attack on the women was hate-based, almost certainly anyway. And I don't think you're going to be able to tie it to Brian. He does have, like we said before, that 380 Taurus, or 308. But he didn't use it on Gabby whatsoever, and we're pretty positive he killed her. So I don't think they're connected.
Yeah, I really, really personally do not think that there's a connection between the two. But like I said, I could be utterly wrong. And there's other things that the coroner knows that we don't know. There's things that the coroner knows that he did not say in that thing. He did slip up, though. He did talk about DV. And when I say DV, I mean, I'm just going to say once, domestic violence, okay? We have to be safe on this channel. Of course, you know how it is, all right? But he slipped up and he said DV. He didn't need to give that information, but he did. Either he wanted to, or he's just not that properly vetted media, like for media, to be asked 15 different questions over and over and over again. So he did say that. Real quick, somebody asked for me to put in the link to the interview with Cindy Sue on another platform on Facebook. So Roberta on Facebook, the link is now in the chat. So please go check it out when you get a chance. Okay. Real quick. Thank you so much, Hollywood 2000 for the $5 super chat. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Every little bit helps this channel. Of course, everybody who's watching right now, please. We got about 400 souls watching the show right now. Please hit that like button down below. Send those likes past 100 likes. That would really, really mean a lot to us. All right. Now, yes, no one is right. No one has the correct answer because we were not flies on the wall. We were not in the area. We don't know what has happened, what is happening, what is going to continue to happen. We don't know if there's any other pieces of evidence that may have been on that body, on Gabby Petito's body, that could lead to any other pieces of information. They just told us death by strangulation. Now, there is a part of me that I don't understand why they did not give us any more information. I find that a little strange. But they still gave us something that definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, pushes the needle forward and points a direct straight to Brian Laundrie. There's no way, unless something crazy happened out on the trail. There's no way we can sit here and not think that Brian Laundrie did not do it. There's no way we would think that. Now, it's crazy to me, like I said. It's very, very weird. But we do have a few videos that I want to show you guys because there was a little bit of a recap, of course, with on News Now. They were talking about the reaction, right? The reaction of finding out Gabby Petito, or at least a key element in Gabby Petito's autopsy that could literally point towards Brian Laundrie, which is death by strangulation. They talk about this in this video. I wanted to show this to you guys. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Let's go.
Yeah, Marty, it was difficult. I think a lot of people suspected this would be the cause of death, but to hear the coroner say strangulation and to actually see it in the final autopsy report, it's hard not just to sort of imagine what Gabby Petito's final moments were like.
The cause, death by strangulation, and manner is homicide.
We now know how Gabby Petito was killed. It is in black and white here in Teton County Coroner Dr. Brent Blue's signed report. Death by manual strangulation, throttling.
Hold on real quick. I just wanted to show that to you guys. Death by manual strangulation / throttling. This definitely was a crime of passion, without a shadow of a doubt. Death by manual strangulation / throttling. What does that say to you guys? I just want to let that marinate. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to let that marinate in your brains. Get it in that brain matter. Massage that ish into the brain matter real quick. Get that seasoning up in that piece, okay? Do you think this is a guy who goes around killing people? I think not. This is a crime of passion. This was a very volatile, angry situation, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think Brian has the making of somebody who would go on some sort of killing spree. I think this is all just a argument or passionate whatever that went into something very, very terrible. And of course, we lose someone like Gabby Petito in the process. I don't think he ran off to just start. He just wanted to kill a whole bunch of people. No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. This was a crime of passion, and probably it was a blind rage. And when the smoke cleared from his eyes, when the rage left his eyes, he found her lifeless in his hands. Sorry. And then he freaked the hell out. Strangulation / throttling. Think about that. He killed her with his own bare hands. Crazy. Let's continue.
Throttling.
I can tell you the DNA samples were taken by law enforcement, and all I can tell you about remains is that the body was outside for 3 to 4 weeks.
That adds new information into the timeline. Gabby's body was discovered on September 19th, and now we know, according to the coroner, she was killed 3 to 4 weeks earlier. While the coroner would not talk about the investigation or Brian Laundrie, he did make a comment about domestic violence.
Unfortunately, this is only one of many deaths around the country of people who are involved in domestic violence.
After the coroner's announcement, Laundrie family attorney Steve Bertolino released this statement.
Hold on. I'm rolling that back just a little bit.
He did make a comment about domestic violence.
One more time.
Unfortunately, this is only one of many deaths around the country of people who are involved in domestic violence.
After the
So you heard it again. I'm playing it again because this was something that he just kind of said in passing, right? It kind of slipped under the radar when we were watching it, but not with everybody else. Like other channels, we were watching WFLA. They were like, yo, no. He just said this. Bruh, he just said this, y'all. He just said this. He said DV. So clearly there's something else, or they know of something else. And what's so sad about this whole thing is that this whole situation could have not have happened if people just listened, or if she had talked to the right people, or talked to anybody for that matter. God knows if she had other bruises on her body. They did not go into detail about that. That show that maybe that there was previous moments of violence between them. Clearly, we saw it in the body cam footage that we all saw. The whole world saw that body cam footage. Even the coroner saying it. And he didn't. I feel like that's a piece of information he shouldn't have been saying, or he was not at liberty to say. But he said it.
Coroner's announcement, Laundrie family attorney Steve Bertolino released this statement. Gabby Petito's death at such a young age is a tragedy. While Brian Laundrie is currently charged with the unauthorized use of a debit card belonging to Gabby, Brian is only considered a person of interest in relation to Gabby Petito's demise. At this time, Brian is still missing, and when he is located, we will address the pending fraud charge against him.
I want to roll that back real quick. Now, this is a statement from the attorney, Baloney Bertolino. All right. Now, why would he put this stuff out now? Why would he put this stuff out? Gabby Petito's death at such a young age is a tragedy. Duh. Thanks so much. While Brian Laundrie is currently charged with the unauthorized use of a debit card belonging to Gabby, bingo. Remember how we were sitting there going, hey, whose card is it? We all speculated it was Gabby, right? We all knew that. But look at that.
He did have
white. We're seeing it now in black and white. He's saying Brian is only considered a person of interest in relation to Gabby Petito's demise. What? Like, why do you have to repeat that? Why do you have to say that? Why can't it just be on behalf of the family? We feel so terrible about this news. Why go in and suddenly say, well, he's only currently charged for unauthorized use of a debit card that belonged to Gabby. Also, you gave out that information that now it belonged to Gabby. Why didn't you give that information before, bruh? David, go ahead. I'm just saying this does not make Baloney Bertolino is an idiot. All right. And it doesn't make any sense. Now I see Sam White. Thank you so much for the comments. Everybody keep the comments coming. But he's saying damage control. Show it's damage control. But he just outed some ish right there that we didn't know before. And instead of just putting out a piece of this is devastating news, hearing about this on behalf of the parents or something like that, he's trying to, damage control. What for? Damage is already done. David, please.
Yeah. So this does strike me as interesting, considering the fact that they still haven't kind of accused Brian of being the one who murdered her. So this is the first time we've heard that one of the cards he used, because he used 3 different cards. They may have all been from Gabby, but it sounds like the attorney is saying only one of those was, because he's using the singular. So that would still be 2 other credit cards. But I mean, they got him on that one for sure. If one of them was hers and he used it after she died, so that one would easily count as fraud. But I was also thinking, so if she was strangled, and it sounds like she was probably strangled by hand, the term they use to describe the manual throttling does specifically usually mean by like a body part or a blunt object across the neck. So it's most likely that he did use his hands. And so the person that strangled her used their hands, they would still have an imprint of those to some degree, especially if she died during that, because the imprints on her muscles would still be slightly there, as well as the bruising. And they'd be able to tell the size of the hands and roughly the height of the person committing the crime. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with why they're not saying that Brian Laundrie is the murderer, or if maybe there's something there that's inconsistent. But I mean, this is their attorney, so he is going to present things in a way that benefits Gabby's family. That's his job. So, I mean, he's putting out this information to kind of, I think, imply that Brian's the one who did it, which is the most obvious answer still. But with this evidence of strangulation and them still not putting out a warrant specifically for Brian, it just seems really strange to me, especially since he's only 5'8". So the marks on his neck would have been at a lower angle than you'd expect from the average person.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of force as well, you'd be able to tell, and the size of his hands. But if they have all that and they're still not convicting, or they're still not saying Brian was the murderer, why are they doing that? Is there something there potentially that does not work with it being Brian that's the one who strangled her? Because I mean, he's already on the run, so at this point there's no benefit to them saying, or to them keeping the secret. I mean, if they came straight out and said he's guilty of murder, or if he's suspected of murder, a lot more people are going to be looking for him than some bank fraud over 3 credit cards. I mean, because at that point, I mean, you have the power of the law. So if you do find him, they will come and take him. I mean, he's a murderer. If he was the murderer, I mean, which I still think he probably was, but it's just weird that they're not saying that if they have the evidence of strangulation.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Ed K in the comments. Thank you so much for the comments, everybody. Just asked, what does throttling mean? What do they mean by throttling? So I just looked it up on my other screen, okay? Because I got to keep this up because we're going to watch the rest of this video. So I just Googled. I just went into the Google, love, and I said, what does throttling mean with strangulation? So this is what it says here. All right. It says manual strangulation, also known as throttling, is a type of asphyxial death where the perpetrator uses his hand to encircle and compress the front and side of the neck. It is a common method of homicide, most often encountered when the physical size and strength of the assailant exceeds that of the victim. So that's what it means. Throttling, or what does throttling mean with strangulation? It is a type of asphyxial death where the perpetrator uses his hand to encircle and compress the front and side of the neck. Let me repeat that again. It is where the perpetrator uses his hand to encircle and compress the front and side of the neck. It is a common method of homicide, often encountered when the physical size and strength of the assailant exceeds that of the victim. What do you think? She's what? How many pounds wet? He said a bunch of times, the cop said. She's probably 110 pounds wet. And I don't know how much.
5'6", I think.
Yeah. He is, of course.
He's 5'8" and 160 pounds.
There you go. Imagine somebody on top of you that weighs more than you. Maybe you don't have a whole lot of upper body strength. And you're trying to beat this person off of you. But they overpower you. And they have an incredible amount of force. So, just so you guys know what that means, that's what it is right there. All right? It's when the hands are around the neck, front and side of the neck, compressing, putting in a lot of force. And that person, the perpetrator, overpowering the victim. And that's exactly what happened to this young woman. We cannot sit here and say that he didn't do it. I hate to say it, but hey, I have to say allegedly because, legally speaking. But at the same time, all signs are pointing towards Brian. All signs. I think the man did it. Let's just keep it straight funky. I think we all are in agreement on that. So let's continue. But like I said, this lawyer is a piece of trash. Go ahead, David. One last thing.
Well, never mind. I play the video. I forgot what I was going with.
Go ahead. Go.
All right. So if Brian did do this, the FBI at this point is kind of helping him out here, because I think more people would be looking if they came out with the accusation of murder. And that would also start involving, more police agencies would probably be involved at that point. So one of the reasons I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, that he hasn't been charged for murder yet is because after the charge, he has to have his trial by a certain time, even if they don't have him in custody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible they're waiting to get him in custody first. But it just seems strange because of the way it all played out. And I do think you're right that it was probably a crime of passion, considering he used his hands. He didn't use a weapon in this case. We know he has a gun. He could have even used a rock or something more effective if he intended to premeditate kill her.
Right.
So I do think this was probably a crime of passion in that moment, just because he did use his hand instead of, I guess, a better killing tool.
Yep. Like I said, this was definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, a crime of passion. And I mean, hey, you can agree to disagree. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm not trying to give him an out. Still, no matter what, he took the life of somebody, period. It is wrong, period. Whether it is blind rage, a moment of passion, an accidental moment of rage where he just lost himself and just literally watched her life slip away with his bare hands, but he was still blind in this rage and not even thinking about it because he was so angry, only to realize, oh my God, she's dead. I'm not justifying anything. What he did is very, very wrong. And what he continued to do after is just disgusting. This is the reason why he's on the road, on the run, out on a lamb. But like I said, strangulation / throttling. The other part I was going to say this too. Somebody else said in the comments, I would think that maybe he shook her. Maybe he violently, when I think of throttle, I think of a shake, right? So I instantly think that maybe he was shaking her so hard, maybe he snapped her neck. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? The possibilities are endless. They didn't go. The coroner did not go into great detail. I wish he did, though. Okay? I really, really wish he did. But this is what we know right now. Okay? Let's continue with this piece.
We will address the pending fraud charge against him. Also today, Northport, Florida city crews boxed up the Gabby Petito Memorial that's grown over the last month near City Hall. A more permanent memorial is in the planning stages, and all of these cards, candles, and stuffed animals will be taken to Gabby's family. And in response to the Laundrie family attorney's statement, Gabby's mom said tonight that his words are garbage. You just have to imagine what Gabby's family must be going through right now.
No kidding. The best statement in the world. Their words are garbage. Garbage. Trash. As some of you guys like to hear me say, trash. All right?
Learning about her cause of death. Marnie?
I cannot imagine, Brian. What about the FBI? Are we hearing anything from them tonight in response?
Absolutely nothing. They have been silent, which has been interesting because it was the Teton County coroner who sort of had this press conference on his own. The FBI and the U.S. attorney were both not part of it.
How about the search out at the reserve, that swampy reserve near where you are? Did that continue today?
We haven't seen any search crews out there the last several days. We know the reserve was back open, at least for a brief moment. It's obviously very large, 24,000 acres, so they could be searching in an area that we haven't seen, but we haven't seen any sign of police there.
Brian, the other thing I'm curious about, and I know people at home are as well, is what is happening in that house behind you? What activity it took place today? Have you seen the Laundries come out? And also kind of set the scene for us outside that house. What's going on?
Well, it's been relatively quiet here today, even with the coroner's announcement. Obviously, their attorney made the statement, but the Laundries have not come outside. Let me show you. It's actually starting to rain out here. But you can see the front door. All of the flowers that people have sent for Gabby are still right there in front of the screened-in porch. Many of the flowers have since died because they've been there for so long at this point. There was one moment tonight that was sort of interesting. There were some people that showed up and actually went to the front door of the Laundrie's house, banged on the door. This was maybe a half an hour ago. The Laundries opened the door briefly, came out, then went back inside, and the police were actually called. We assume they called the police, concerned that someone was in their front yard. But besides that, no major significant activity out here, Marty.
The level of frustration growing, certainly with the autopsy reports tonight. Brian Enton, as always, thank you. We'll see you in a bit. For weeks, we have tried to piece together what exactly happened to Gabby. And
okay, so this part is good. Getting this breakdown of this timeline really quick, because obviously we are all trying to math and do the arithmetic and carry the 1 divisible by 2. Let's check this out. Let's see what they put together.
and we want to walk through some of those dates and details with you tonight.
Oh, one more thing. Hit that like button, y'all. I see over 800 souls watching the show right now. Hit that like button. Send that past 300 likes. That would really mean a lot to us. All right. And of course, do not forget to crush that subscribe button. All right. I have a special episode coming out later this afternoon about Jelani Day and the Jelani Day autopsy. So if you're interested in finding out about that at all, you need to tune in later on today. I will be dropping that episode here in a couple hours. So definitely tune in for that. Okay. So hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that join button down below. Support this channel. Support us. All right. We are working hard out here in these streets. Okay. Like I said, if you're interested in seeing about the Jelani Day story, I am going to be talking about that later on today. So tune in. All right. Let's see what they say about this timeline.
Adding in what we learned today from that coroner. And that starts with August 12th. That was the couple's fight in Moab, Utah. You saw those video clips weeks ago where Gabby admitted that Brian had hit her. And then on August 17th, that is the date that Brian's sister Cassie believes that he flew home to Florida without Gabby. She claims that she FaceTimed with Gabby during that visit. Brian then flew back to Salt Lake City on August 23rd. And then that takes us to August 25th, a couple of days later. That was the last time Gabby's mom says that she spoke with her daughter on the phone. And then on September 1st, authorities say Brian returned to Florida with the van but again, no Gabby. And then on September 11th, Gabby's family officially reporting her missing on that day. And then September 13th, that was the last time Brian's parents say that they saw Gabby's body. It was found in Utah 6 days later. So based on this time frame from the coroner, and if these dates line up, Gabby was killed sometime after August 25th.
So I'm going to run that one more time, okay? And we're going to break it down. I just wanted to see what they had to say, which is a pretty good breakdown. Definitely bullets. But let's go through this one more time.
Exactly happened to Gabby and when. And we want to walk through some of those dates and details with you tonight, adding in what we learned today from that coroner. And that starts with August 12th. That was the couple's fight in Moab, Utah. You saw those video clips weeks ago where Gabby admitted that Brian had hit her. And then on August 17th, that is the date that Brian's sister Cassie believes that he flew home to Florida without Gabby. She claims that she FaceTimed with Gabby during that visit. Brian then flew back to Salt Lake City on August 23rd. And then
so he went home August 17th. He flew home, allegedly, right? He flew home, which obviously has been debunked, if I'm correct. He did fly home on the 17th. Then he flew back on the 23rd. So he went home for 6 days, give or take. All right? He went home for 6 days, turned around, and flew back. Now, he had 6 days. That's a lot of time, especially when you don't got no job. I'm just going to be straight funky. When this man does not have a job, he sells his artwork, right? He's not got some crazy 9-to-5 where he's got to, host a talk show or anything. Shameless plug. So it's not like he's sitting there doing anything like that. It's not like he's some crazy content creator where he's running around and doing all kinds of stuff. It's not like he's working in a retail store, working in a coffee shop, nothing. So he has 6 days to sit there and ponder, smoke some herb and ponder. What was he doing for those 5 to 6 days? What the hell was he doing? He went to a locker. He went to a locker to empty that stuff out. But that's like one day. Let's keep it real. That's like one day. So what was he doing for those 5 to 6 days? Aside from going to a locker and emptying it out. Then he flew back. They had another fight 2 days later after he came back. That's when we saw that they had the fight. That's when they talk about the fight that happened outside of the I forgot what it's, the Mary Piglet, something like that. The Piggy Wiggly. I don't remember. But you know what I'm saying. Something like that. It had something to do with the pig. All right. Something about happy with a pig. But that restaurant. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be funny. I'm sorry. Just trying to shed some light, some lightness in here. But let's continue here. Like I said, 5 to 6 days. What was he doing? Was he planning on taking her life? I don't think so, though. I really don't think he was planning on taking her life when he was out there. I don't. I just don't. But maybe it is. I don't know, man. It just, to me, just seems so weird. It just seems so weird. Let's continue. It is the Mary Piglet. Thank you. And yes, they saw a scene outside of the or inside the Moonflower, and that was on that same day, if I'm correct. So let's continue.
And then that takes us to August 25th, a couple of days later. That was the last time Gabby's mom says that she spoke with her daughter on the phone. And then on September 1st, authorities say Brian returned to Florida with the van, but again, no Gabby.
So last phone call that they have with her is on the 25th. The mom has a conversation with her on the phone, right? That's the last time they hear her voice. 27th was the last time anybody saw her physically alive, the 27th. So, did something happen on the 27th? Did it happen when did it go down? Because they say 3 to 4 weeks, her body had been left. Her spirit, her soul, had left her body 3 to 4 weeks ago. Now we're in almost in the middle of October, y'all. Start mathing. 3 to 4 weeks from since the time that they found her, right? 3 to 4 weeks, her body was out in that area by itself for 3 to 4 weeks. So he had to have done something between the 25th, or sorry, the 27th and the 1st. Like I said, I don't think this was a situation where he just said, I'm going to fly home and I'm going to plot her death. Hell no. I don't think that it was like that at all. I literally think that this was a crime of passion and he moved quick. As soon as the crime of passion happened, he moved quick, y'all. Because if you think about it, the 27th, say she died, say the murder, the homicide happened between the 27th and the 1st. What are the chances of him actually, let's just say, she kills her on the 29th. Let's just say. And he, for a full day after, one, he's freaking out. He's probably trying to console himself. He's trying to keep himself him pacing back and forth. Like, what am I going to do? Finally, he freaks out, grabs her car keys, jumps in her car, and drives his lanky, bald ass all the way back to Florida on the 1st. So he drove for at least 2 days. 2 days, nonstop driving. Like I said, he must have done the deed, freaked the hell out, discarded the body, hopped back in the car, and skedaddled. He kicked rocks hard. That's the only way. And of course, it's not like he's going to sleep. Let's keep it real. Like I said, I don't think that this man has some sort of bloodlust. I literally think this is something where he just made a mistake. He was so enraged, he was caught up in the passion of it, and then he said, "Oh my God. Oh my God." Got rid of the body, jumped back in the van, and drove his ass home. He ain't going to sleep. You ain't going to sleep after you do something like that. So for a fact he just drove nonstop, bang, all the way back to Florida. Then the plotting began. Plotting on how to get the hell out of there without getting in trouble. Avoiding the Petito family and her extended family as much as he could. Allegedly telling his parents what had gone down and them having a hand in helping him get the hell out of Dodge. David, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? How I'm breaking this down? I mean, I just don't think that it was a premeditated thing. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Just the way the timeline plays out, it doesn't seem premeditated to me. He might have even taken that week to go home and try to cool off or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Just to separate themselves from each other for a little bit. But either way, he made the wrong choices afterward. If he turned himself in, he would still be facing manslaughter at the worst, but he would be able to control it to some degree, and his sentence would probably be less because he turned himself in before anyone pointed out that she was even missing. But he just kind of went home and expected that no one would ever question where she went to. And then once people started questioning where she went to, he runs away, and it's just disappeared since then. So all he's really done is made his case worse. He's still going to be found eventually if he's still alive. And so if he went to, like I said, if he went to the police, this would be a very different case. The fact that he hid her death or murder, and used debit cards to run away and fraudulently get money, possibly for for like the gas and all that trip. Yeah, he just messed it up. He should have turned himself in if this was a crime of passion.
Oh yeah.
Because, like I said, it's only going to get worse if you run away from it. Obviously, he was scared, but he's had several months now, and he's still making the same wrong choices. So at this point, I mean, he's still, even if it was an accident, he still willingly and intentionally kept her death from her parents and other people for several months, or at least a month. And I mean, who knows at that point? But I think he was probably afraid and ran away.
That's exactly what I think.
Yeah.
I think he freaked the hell out both times. He freaked out that he did that thing. Clearly, there was a language of violence between them. We saw it in the body cam footage. Clearly, the language of violence was integrated in that relationship to the point where they were both hitting each other. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There was clearly that, but they obviously cared for each other. They did. Let's be real. I need to point this out because everybody's trying to read into this situation where he was out in the body cam footage when they said, really, you are the victim, Brian, and she's actually the assailant. One, he goes, can you put the charges on me? He said, give it to me. Don't give it to her. Give it to me. Now, in my mind, if somebody was really wanting to have the girlfriend be the bad guy and stick with it, he would have said, all right, then, shoot, throw her in jail. She deserves it. But no, he was just like, no. Can you just give it to me? Give it to me. Then also he was like, you know what? Never mind. What do I need to do so that we can get this off of her record? He's like, can we do something else? He was trying to negotiate with the cops straight up. All right. Like I said, I don't think. And then 5 days later, he jumped into a plane and he went home. It's not like he sat there 5 days later and going, man, I need to kill this woman. No, I literally think that the 12th, maybe the encounter with the cops was a huge wake-up call for both of them. And they said, you know what? Maybe we need to take a break between, from each other. That's what I think. He gets into a plane, he flies home and does whatever he needs to do, whatever that is. He takes 6 days, but I don't think he took 6 days to plot this woman's death. I think he flew back to the van, wherever they met. Something bad happened, and then he took her life. Crime of passion. Crime of passion. Rage. Blind rage. That's what I'm saying. It's and I see somebody saying that I'm trying to make excuses for a criminal. Here it is. I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody. I'm just trying to make sense out of this timeline, because this timeline seems strange. And for me, when you leave on the 17th, when he left on the 17th and came back on the 23rd, and then 4 or 5 days later, she is allegedly at this time, that's when she dies. I just don't think he went home to think about killing her for 6 days. I just don't see it. I just don't. The other question I have too, and I have to throw this up here, is where was Gabby during those 5 to 6 days? What was she doing? Who was she chilling with? Where did she disappear to? He left town. He left her with that van. And you remember on the body cam footage, she did not want anything to do with that van by herself. So where was she during that time that he was on that plane flying home to Florida? You see what I'm saying? I really think that they had that spat. It was embarrassing for them. They split up. They maybe got back together the very next day, talked about it, saying, whoa, this made me realize a lot of things about our relationship. We need some time to think. Either side, either person said it. Doesn't matter who said it, but they both agreed on taking some time apart. He flies home. He goes and does his thing over there. Comes back 4 or 5 days later, after him coming back from Florida, she dies. Where was she during the time that he was out of town when he left for Florida? Where was she? And what caused the fight? What caused whatever led to her death, which is strangulation / throttling, which we already went through the thing. And I'll repeat it one more time, and I'm going to throw it over to you, David. But I'm going to say this one more again. Manual, what does throttling mean with strangulation? Manual strangulation is also known as throttling. It is a type of asphyxial death where the perpetrator uses his hand to encircle and compress the front and side of the neck. It is a common method of homicide, most often encountered when the physical size and strength of the assailant exceeds that of the victim. I don't think that this was premeditated. I think this was a crime of passion. He took this woman's life. He freaked out. 2 to 3 days later, he hopped into a car, probably was not even sleeping, just drinking Red Bull, driving all the way back home. That's my theory. But David, please tell me your thoughts. We have over 1,000 souls in the house right now. Please hit that like button. Send those likes all the way up. I'd love to see it go past 600 likes. So please crush that like button down below. And yes, please, again, crush that subscribe button. It'd be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. David, I know I just said a lot, but what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think?
I think your timeline is mostly in the right area. So for as far as the like you said, throttling is his strangling of her. It's called unintentional strangulation if it was an accident or a crime of passion. And according to criminal defense lawyer nationwide, most crimes that involve choking someone to death are crimes of passion, typically, in terms of what the court finds at the end of it. So, I mean, just based on the statistics, that does just kind of play out the way that police have typically seen cases like this. And mostly, I mean, this has always been used for crimes of passion. If you remember, or like 10, 15 years ago, it's probably like 20 years ago now, kids are like strangling each other, kind of like a blood choke. So they would pass out a little and get high.
Oh, yeah.
And some kids died from that, of course. So they charged those kids with unintentional strangulation as well. But this is a thing that's happened before. So unintentional strangulation and choking is considered in most cases not to be premeditated. I mean, obviously the intent does not come from how they killed them, but just in the way it plays out, it almost always plays out that choking is a crime of passion. I couldn't get the exact numbers, but this law site was suggesting it was over 60% of 60% of the cases play out like that. So, I mean, that does kind of work. And we also know he was hitchhiking with all these other people for a while. Seems like they were trying to stay away from each other for a while, if she was still alive at that point. And I mean, from what we've heard from her in the past, she doesn't really like to drive the van whatsoever. Typically, it's her money they use to get vans and things like that and to upgrade it. But he's the one that kind of managed the van and drove it and everything. So maybe that's why he was hitchhiking at that point. Because even if he's the one that always drives it, it's still her car technically. I mean, he stole it after he killed her, if he killed her. But I mean, if we're going with the idea that it wasn't premeditated, he wouldn't have been planning it ahead of time. But yeah, so
yeah, I mean, he would have
case we got.
Yeah, that's what, like I said, he would have been doing something. He would have been doing something that would tell us otherwise. But I think, like I said, I mean, it still doesn't justify anything. I mean, what he did is very, very wrong and very, very bad. And him being on the run does not help his situation and makes it worse. Actually, it's not worse until they actually pin him with something, because they're not pinning him with not a damn thing. So we don't know, right? Because they haven't given him anything except for credit card fraud, debit card fraud. That's it. They haven't even pinned the murder on him, the homicide on him. So right now he's just looking at like a slap on the wrist or whatever. He ain't even looking at the full. He's not even looking down the barrel of the death penalty right now. Not even right now. But go ahead, David.
I was going to say, also, it doesn't seem like he tried to hide the body in any meaningful way. It sounds like it was partially covered by debris, but that could have been because it was laying there for a while. However, he left the body near a campsite, which obviously people would find it because of the smell eventually. So he didn't even try to hide her. Like that is the fact that he didn't have a ritual after killing her kind of works against the serial killer aspect as well.
Yeah.
But I just think that's the fact he didn't hide her, or he didn't have a way to, I don't know, better handle it. He didn't bring any plastic to wrap it up in or something like that.
Yeah.
That's just points toward it being a crime of passion to me as well.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's a crime of passion. This was not, like I said, I mean, obviously this is my theory, or this is mine and David's theory, because he agrees with me. Thank you, Jesus. The brain agrees with me. But this is obviously, in my mind, a crime of passion. This was something that just happened to happen. This was most likely a fight that just blew up, that probably was literally sitting there percolating for a while. You know how people are. Sometimes relationships are like that. You don't talk about the elephant. You don't even acknowledge the elephant in the room. You just let it go. You just let it be what it is until one day it just goes off like a powder keg. Just saying. Obviously, that's what happened in the restaurant, outside of the restaurant. This is what happened in the car while they were getting pulled over. They literally have violent moments in their relationship where they just blow up, or he blows up, whichever side. She does, he does, whatever. No matter what, the language of violence was integrated in that relationship a long time ago. That's it. And it was just behind closed doors for the most part. But let's continue with this last piece.
I want to bring in former FBI agent Jennifer Coffendorfer now. She has been following this case along with us as we learn new details and developments. Jennifer, as always, good to see you. You say you were surprised that the coroner came out today and released these details about the autopsy. Why is that?
I was surprised what can happen considering that move. Specifically, now we know that it was strangulation, throttling, and that is just so significant for down the road as witnesses come forward, as people are providing information regarding details that could lead up to this strangulation point. In other words, did they find out it was a strangulation by what the coroner said, or did they have separate information that they knew prior to this release?
I'm curious, Jennifer, do you think that the FBI was on board with the coroner releasing this information today, that they were working in tandem with one another?
I don't believe working in tandem per se on the coroner's decision, but it's obviously the coroner's, he's delegated that authority to make that decision. Thank goodness he is kept in check, if you will, by Wyoming state law, that he could only release so much, and that was the specific cause of death and no further details, thankfully.
Well, and he went into the fact that he isn't required by law to release any details. So the fact that he was coming out and speaking and releasing anything, and then taking it a step further and answering questions from the media, many found surprising. Could this be a sign, though, based on your experience in the FBI, that the FBI may be closing in on Brian and having this information may be helpful?
I believe the reason he came forward, he intimated during his interview. He was calling the circumstances regarding this autopsy a media circus. He seemed a little bit irritated, at least from my view, as to all the attention that is on this case. And I think he wanted to relieve some of the pressures from the media as well as the public by getting out there what his office had decided as the cause of death.
You know what? She ain't wrong. That theory, her theory about that coroner is not wrong. I think that coroner was like, y'all need to stop asking me all these damn questions. I need to say something so that you guys can get off my back so I can live my life. So I'm going to just turn to y'all and say what I need to say. And it's just going to be one main thing. Death by strangulation. Go with that. Okay? There you go. Oh, I'll leave you a little bit of a breadcrumb. Yeah, it has to do with DV. Bye. Corner out. Like, that's what it feels like, right? He just sat there and he's like, all right, man, I'm tired of answering all these dumb questions. So let me get it all out in one sitting right now. Bang, let's knock it out. And then be gone. Be gone. Okay? We're done. So, oh, man. Like I said, the theories are obviously going insane right now. People are all thinking and speculating what they need to speculate. I understand that piece. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Of course, Dog the Bounty Hunter, by the way, has not left Florida, according to Lissa Chapman, his daughter. Basically, he said he was going to go on vacation, or he was going to go and take care of a few things, and then he hasn't left Florida. But I do have a video from Dog the Bounty Hunter about this information, about this new information that came out about strangulation. Let's take a look.
The coroner's report isn't good for the entire Laundrie family. Brian's only chance is to turn himself in. He cannot run forever. The Laundries have stonewalled Gabby's family because they knew what Brian had done, and it looks like they've helped him run. And now it seems like, based on the report coupled with their behavior, they have more than likely acted and aided and abetted a murder. Strangulation is not an accident. Strangulation is not an accident. It looks very bad right now for the Laundrie family. Brian, make a deal and turn yourself in now.
Not wrong with that. Definitely not wrong with that theory. Just saying. Dog the Bounty Hunter hasn't even left yet. He was supposed to go off to somewhere. I think he was supposed to be like in Colorado or something like that, y'all. And he's still up here in this piece, chilling, because he still feels like Brian Laundrie might sneak out somehow, might pop out, especially with this new information now, which is still just a breadcrumb. It's not even the whole slice of bread. It's just it's just a little crumb, little crummy crumb. Not even the whole slice of bread, man. The coroner just said, here's a little morsel for you. Enjoy yourself. You're full now, aren't you? With that information, that little breadcrumb? No, we're not. Obviously, we're not. Let's keep it straight funky, y'all. Let's keep that straight funky. But here it is. Dog the Bounty Hunter is like, yo, man, work out a deal. Turn yourself in. Work out a deal and turn your ass in. Period. I got to show you guys this other piece because I just find it funny. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's me just being me. Okay. But I do find this piece a little funny. Oh, and David, I understand you have to hop off. Sorry, I just saw that. But David, thank you for being on with me, man. I do appreciate it. All right. I'll be seeing you soon. All right, man.
Hey, man. Talk to you later.
All right, man.
Peace.
So there's one other piece I wanted to show you guys, and this is the last piece I'm showing you guys, and then I'm going to wrap up here myself. Like I said, we're going to be on for a short time, but for a good time, baby. So this is another piece that I found very interesting. Mr. Christopher Laundrie finally mowing his lawn. We're not going to watch the whole freaking thing. It's 30 minutes of him just mowing the damn lawn, okay? But this is funny.
Sir, do any interviews at some point, sir? How do you feel to know that Gabby died of strangulation in the wilderness of Wyoming? She used to live with you. How does that make you feel? Does it bother you that Gabby was strangled? Was your son involved in strangling Gabby? Is there anything you want to say to the Petito family?
I mean, just straight up watching this man mow his lawn. I'm not kidding. Pulls out a weed whacker. Like he's trying to mow the lawn. I don't know. I understand neighborhood guidelines and all that stuff. I'm sure he was getting complaints from his neighbors about not mowing his lawn and whatnot. But wow, this is.
Would your son surrender to authority? Do you have any comment for anybody?
I just think this is funny. I mean, here it is, though, guys. Let's talk about this. This piece right here just ain't working for me, right? And I think it's not working for a lot of us, right? First off, shout out to Brian Enton for this live feed, because he did stream this live on his Twitter. Now, I get it. He has to do what he has to do. I mean, you know, he has to mow his lawn. He has to do his daily thing. I mean, they have to still go out, get the mail. They still have to eat. They still have to live. They still have things to do, right? But you got a lot of people that are sitting there outside of your home, media, just waiting for you to come out so that they can have a conversation. Wait, I just saw something. Let me pull that back. Hold on. Let's see what happens here. He's just trying to mow his lawn. Now, here's the thing that, like, we're all sitting here, we're watching this. Like I said, we got over 1,000 souls watching the show right now, watching him mow the damn lawn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny to me because, like I said, he is not going to answer anyone. And he's probably very thankful for the lawnmower because it's drowning out all the questions. It's drowning out all the people. All right. And yes, HOA probably did send him a notice basically saying, please mow your lawn. You have got to go and mow your lawn. Because them are the rules. So he had to do something. And he's probably going, I need to do this early in the morning so that everybody and their mama doesn't show up. My thing is, though, is why would he mow the lawn the day after they came out with the coroner report? Why didn't you do it a few days before? Why didn't you do it? Why do it now? I'm not sitting here saying that he had that he's doing this in protest, or he's trying to make a comment. You see what I'm saying? He's not. But at the same time, here we are. People still at this family's home, asking them a gang of questions. But why would you mow the lawn the morning after? You know, for a fact, they said in the other video, Brian Enton did say that there were people knocking on their door last night. They had to call the cops because people were, of course, were enraged. Remember, everybody was like, hey, after we saw the results, we heard about the result of the one little breadcrumb the coroner gave us, which was death by strangulation. Somebody said in the comments, oh, yeah, you know, what's going on in the front lawn of the laundries? It's empty. I was like, it's empty for right now. It's empty for right now. It's like, wait till tonight, baby. Wait till tonight. And guess what happened? People were knocking on their door. People were putting flowers on their front door. So on and so forth. Like I said, people were going to be, I said, as soon as the sun comes down, people are going to be showing up. People are definitely going to be showing the F up. So, of course, he goes out and he mows his lawn today, this morning. Why? What kind of idiot? I would have waited a couple more days. I would have been like, you know what? HOA, fine my ass. That's fine. I'm going to wait a couple days. I ain't going to mow now. The day after they just said what happened to a woman that used to live in our home. That was the fiance of our son, who we may or may not have helped leave the state at least, or go into hiding. And yet you go out today, of all days, to go and mow the mother-loving lawn with his weed whacker and everything. Come on now. Son of a gun. And of course, throughout this whole 30-minute video of him mowing his lawn, which is not a great job so far, it's kind of half-assed. And I get it. He's probably nervous. The anxiety is probably killing him. But look at that. He didn't even, I mean, I'm assuming he just went to the back to mow his lawn in the back, but look at that. Hold on. Let's see if Brian says anything. Enton,
If you want to do it, ask the homeowner. I know you. I'll do it. I don't give a shit. These people.
I guess in the backyard again. Seems like you finished the weed whacking. He did seem like maybe he was going to say something. That's kind of the reason
He did give off a vibe in the very beginning, like I feel like he just wanted to say F off. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he just wanted to say, leave me alone. I got things to do. Go away. That's what I think. Real talk.
Out here right now, like when he was over here near the memorial. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think he had a moment where it almost seemed like he was going to answer a question. Looking in the neighbor, and he has to go to work. But if anything else happens, I'll come back live again.
So there you go. And obviously nothing happens live after that, because obviously he doesn't come back out and say anything to anybody. But there you have it, guys. I mean, you see this face value right there in your face. Family comes out, dad comes out to finally mow the lawn because it was long overdue, but he decided to do it the day after they came out with the coroner's results, which is Gabby Petito's death was by strangulation / throttling. And he decided to mow his lawn. I just think it's, like I said, bad timing. Bad timing? Yeah, bad timing. I think he could have waited a day and just kept it moving, doing his damn thing. But there you go, guys. So far, I don't think we are ever going to hear anything from the Laundrie family. We're only going to hear from their lawyer, Bertolino. That's all we're going to get. We are only going to get the lawyer speaking on behalf of the family. We're never going to hear anything more than that, y'all. Just to be completely straight funky. And it's sad, but it is what it is for right now. I wish that they would say something. You know, Cassie came out, she said something, right? She said what she needed to say so that people could stop harassing her, stop screaming and harassing her family, her kids. She was worried about her kids. Whether she was telling the truth or not, we do not know. I'm just going to lean on she said what she said. And I feel like there are pieces of it that are true, but I feel like there are other pieces, nuggets that she said that were not true. But I don't think that we're ever going to hear anything from the parents. Ever. Just saying. And it's sad because here it is. We still need to find out what's happened. We still need to find out where Brian Laundrie is. The parents have the key. The parents know exactly where he is. Or at least where he was. Because clearly, for the past 3 weeks, they have been searching. He's already moved on. But they at least know where he was before. And I also do think that that lawyer knows a lot too. Just saying. Which is also an interesting situation too, you know? If you really think about it. If the lawyer knows exactly his whereabouts, or at least where he was before, would that be something? Can that be? Does that still fall into the client? I forgot the term. I think it's like lawyer-client privilege. Does that still stay within the confines of that category, or is he also helping, abetting it, hiding this criminal, this alleged criminal? Inquiring minds would like to know. Like I said, and I agree, Esther. Right there. The lawyer knows the whole story of what went down and where Brian is hiding, or at least where Brian was hiding. Because I think Brian is on the move. Jay, Renee, confidentiality, right? So I think that's what it is. I think so. Okay? I think so. There was a super chat, and I lost it because I was watching that video. But there it is. Yes, attorney-client privilege. Thank you, Roberta, on Facebook. Okay, attorney-client privilege. Does that still rest within the attorney-client privilege, or is the lawyer breaking the law by not giving out that information? Like I said, because I know for a fact, like when it comes to this kind of thing, the lawyer is not like, if the lawyer, they'll sit there and go, don't tell me anything. Don't tell me if he did it or not. Do not tell me anything, right? Because then obviously that goes beyond the confines of attorney-client privilege, right? I don't know. Many questions, many questions. Laura Estrada, who has been a member, all right, she's been part of the family membership for 2 months. I was trying to find it here on this thing, but it's not. It must have disappeared. It disappeared quick, y'all. Dang. But anyway, thank you for being a member for 2 months. And she says, Pascal, go take a power nap, and we'll see you later on. Yes, I will be on later on. I mean, it will most likely be a pre-recorded video, but it is covering the whole thing revolving around the case of Jelani Day, his autopsy, and all that. It's very, very interesting, and I'm very excited to share that with you guys because it just doesn't make sense. That one, the math ain't mathing right either with that one as well. All right, so be on the lookout for that, okay, guys? But anyway, like I said, this whole situation doesn't make sense. The attorney-client privilege situation, I really do need to pick somebody's brain about that, real talk, because I wonder what it falls upon, you know, what it falls on. If someone like a lawyer like Bertolino knows the whereabouts of where Brian is, does that stay within the confines of attorney-client privilege? Or is that still aiding and abetting an alleged criminal, an alleged fugitive on the lam, out on the lam? That's a question I'd love to get answered. I'm gonna have to do what I need to do on that for show. But before we head off, of course, I gotta do a little sharing action. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Shameless plug. Okay? Shameless plug, y'all. Shameless plug. Boom.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Pascal. I got something very, very awesome and very exciting to share with you guys. In light of it being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we have some new swag, y'all. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful pink hoodies with the Pascal Show logo on it. We got shirts and sweatshirts specifically for breast cancer awareness. Some of the proceeds will be going to breast cancer awareness. So please go hit that link down below. Buy these limited edition hoodies. Let's not forget. And I also will be signing each and every single shirt or sweatshirt that is actually bought. Hopefully you guys like wearing pink. I do. They do, obviously. Peace.
So there it is, y'all. I got new merch. Please check it out. Got a website called thepascalshowmerch.com. Please go check it out. Like I said, limited edition t-shirts and sweatshirts, all revolving around this month. This month and this month only, because, of course, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every single last hoodie and sweatshirt that is bought by you guys, please, I'm going to be signing every single one, autographing every single last one of them. And some of the proceeds will be going to a Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. So please go check that out. The link is down below. It is the PascalShowMerch.com. We got a bunch of stuff, but this is limited edition. All right. Exclusively only for this month, limited edition. So go check it out. You'll thank me later. All right. And do it for a good cause. It's for a good cause, y'all. All right. Save the boobies, as I said the other day. Save them boobies. All right. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. I want to say a big thank you to David for being on today. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate every single last one of y'all for coming in. Thank you to the super chats. Thank you to all the mods. Shout out to the mods that are in the house handling the volume of people. I really, really do appreciate it. If you haven't done it yet, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Definitely crush that like button. I'd love to see it get past 600 likes at some point. If somebody's rewatching this and whatnot, please just keep crushing that like button down below. Get it past 600 likes. That would mean the world to me, okay? And for those of y'all who are watching this for the very first time, welcome to the Pascal Show. Please crush that subscribe button, all right? It'd be great to have you a part of the family, all right? And of course, we do have our Patreon. Go check it out, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. Or if you just simply want to support the show, $4.99 a month is less than Netflix, y'all. Please hit that join button down below, right down there. Just right down there, okay? Hit that and support this channel. Support me. I'm working so hard. Like I said before, I'm tired. I think I am going to go and take a power nap, all right? But we do have some stuff, some stories we do have to talk about later on today. So tune in because we are going to be talking a crap ton about this stuff, okay? So anyway, tune in tonight. Or tune in today. We will be talking about Jelani Day, his autopsy, and everything that revolved around his disappearance. And if that autopsy is right, is it ruled by him taking his own life? Or was it someone who actually abducted this man? Do we agree with the autopsy or not? We're going to talk about that later on today. So keep your eyes peeled. It's coming in hot. All right, guys, time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Oops. Hold on. Ooh, where is it? Dang. Okay. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.
Homeowners, and property managers. If you're looking for effective and humane ways to remove wild animals and deal with the damage that they have caused, we have good news for you. Introducing Wildlife Command Center, a professional nuisance wildlife management company specializing in providing animal removal for residential, industrial, and commercial clients. We are the only wildlife company that checks 70 different areas on a structure to determine the answers to the following questions. Exactly which animal are we dealing with? How is the animal getting inside the home? What kind of damage is the animal doing to the structure? Once we get the answers to all of these questions, we develop and write up an action plan to resolve the animal issue completely and provide a quote to implement that action plan. We perform a very in-depth 70-point wildlife inspection. From visually inspecting the highest point, the chimney, to physically crawling inside the attic space and looking for animals, chewed wires, fecal matter, chewed structural wood. We inspect everything. Our inspection process covers all of the following 70 points: animal-proof chimney cap, roof ridge vents, roof to soffit junctions, dormer fascia, attic gable vents, gutter lines, fascia trim, garage door, utility penetrations, water, gas, electric, and cable, bathroom vents, attic roof ridge vents, attic electrical, wiring, junctions, boxes, and lighting, concrete decks, additions, wooden crawl spaces, basement plumbing, penetrations, ceiling, floor, and wall. Wildlife Command Center's mission is to deliver the finest quality wildlife removal and pest control service that is safe for the environment. For more information, call us now.